everybody, CardBandit here, and welcome to a tutorial on a move that I like to call casual. Now, why do I call it casual? I don't know, because it's a pretty simple move, and I came up with it using the casuals deck, and I was just fiddling around, and I casually came up with it. There's a lot of reasons why the name casual suits the move, in my opinion, and that's why I named it. Anyway, it's just a pretty simple move. Two prerequisites. You're going to need to know how to do the index finger push off. I do have a sort of like tutorial and discussion on that in my Card Smarts video series, and you'll also need to know how to do a scissor cut, which I also believe I have a tutorial up on, but it was like an older video, so you may or may not find that useful, but you will need to know how to do the scissor cut, and those are pretty much the two prerequisites. So without further ado, let's get into an overview of the cut. So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be holding the deck in straddle grip, sort of like a high straddle grip, and then you bring this thumb along the back side and the index finger along the front, and you break off into a Z grip. Then that middle packet's going to get transferred over to this thumb here, and in order to do that, you just swivel slightly, thumb comes right beside the other thumb, grips it, and you're in a scissor cut position. This packet you just separate out, and then you get into a biddle grip. So to do that, your ring finger and your middle finger come along the front edge of this packet, and yeah, you're in biddle grip, and then you remove your index finger because you're going to be doing the index finger push off, but that's essentially your opener right there. So from here, index finger push off, remove the middle finger, thumb comes around and rotates that card until it hits the ring finger, middle finger comes back on top. Then you're going to do a two-handed action. The right hand is just going to do a scissor cut, while the left hand does a scissor cut. Wow, my left and rights are mixed up. Left hand does a scissor cut, while this hand is going to be doing something else, which I'll explain now. So essentially what you're going to be doing with the card in this position is you're going to be flipping it over top of the deck as you turn your hand face up. So it can be a tricky thing to do, so let me show you. What you're doing with your middle finger is you're bending the card, well, not bending it, but you're rotating the card over the front edge there as you remove your index finger. You're then going to take your middle finger, bend it at this knuckle to get the card to jump, like to turn over top of the deck. Now you can just leave it like this, but you turn it over to add a little bit of motion and to get into the next part of the deck, of the move. You'll also notice that it can be slightly pinched with the ring finger there, and that's okay because what you're going to be doing next is a slide move, and this extra air in between, or that extra space, just helps with the slide. So having the deck like that whole flip over move is probably the trickiest part of the entire cut, and you have to do it in sequence with the scissor cut in the left hand or the right hand, depending on what hand you use. But essentially you do your scissor cut and you rotate your hand up as you bring that card around and face down on top of the face up packet. Once you've got that sequence figured out, like I said, it's tricky. You're going to release with that middle finger there and tilt your hand up slightly to get that card to slide on top of the main body of the deck. Keep in mind you may not want it 100% on top of the deck, or you may not want it 100% flush. You can, but it makes it easier if it's a little bit out jogged for the thumb slide that comes next. So essentially from here, your thumb slides the card to the side, these three fingers grip the deck and sort of flip it up, and this card gets dragged underneath the main body of the deck. So what you do to close is you bring your thumb along the back. You sort of get into like this straddle type grip. You bring your thumb along the back, you close the main body on top of that single card. Your thumb is pressing this packet against these three fingers. You rotate your wrist and close on top. Alrighty, and that was your detailed explanation. Just gonna go over one slow-mo in case you want to see the performance in slow motion and get a feel for how the flow works. red dudes, and that was the casual cut. I have no idea what this was for. Whatever. Anyway, everybody, that was the casual cut. Really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you play around with that. Just fiddle around with it. Maybe come up with some variations. If you did like the cut, feel free to hit that that thumbs up button. And if you have any comments about the cut, you can leave those down below as well. Really appreciate all the support, everybody. And as always, I will catch you later.